You know exactly what kind of life you want to live. You have the big goals and the clear dreams. But there is a massive gap between where you are right now and where you want to be. And sitting in that gap, waiting for things to happen, usually just feels empty. The strange thing is, the wall keeping you trapped isn't a lack of talent or capability. It is a highly specific trap created entirely by your own mindset. When you focus tightly on a massive long-term goal, your brain starts calculating. It adds up the thousands of hours, the friction, and the sheer volume of work required to actually get there. The scale of it triggers an immediate wave of overwhelm. Because the execution of that dream feels too massive to tackle all at once, the ambition itself backfires. Instead of driving you forward, the goal becomes a source of absolute paralysis. Faced with that paralyzing scale, the human brain does what it always does under stress. It looks for an emergency exit. You start overthinking, the panic sets in, and you reach for your phone to open social media for the 30th time today. You find a reflexive, mindless behavior to self-soothe. This happens because of a very convincing illusion. We trick ourselves into believing that staying stagnant, doing absolutely nothing at all, is the safest, most painless option available to us. But retreating into mindless distraction offers no safety. It is a highly active choice that guarantees the complete, permanent loss of the exact potential you are trying so hard to realize. Doing nothing does not save you from suffering. It only changes the type of suffering you have to endure. If we map this out on a timeline, the first option is the pain of dormancy. It's that slow, subconscious, lingering discomfort of knowing you are wasting your life, quietly eating away at you every single day with no end in sight. The only alternative to that endless flatline is the pain of change. Taking actual steps forward is uncomfortable. It creates a sharp, intimidating spike of effort and fear. But that spike is temporary, and more importantly, it is entirely voluntary. When you put them side by side, the math is obvious. The total volume of that endless, stretching timeline of stagnation completely dwarfs the brief friction of making a change. A totally pain-free life does not exist. Choose the finite friction of growth, or default to the endless agony of a life unlived. So, how do you actually volunteer for that sharp pain of change without immediately triggering the overwhelm response and shutting down again? You have to radically restrict your field of vision. You completely revoke your permission to look at the entire mountain you are trying to climb. Instead of gazing up at the summit, your only task is to look down and find exactly where your next footstep goes. You ignore the thousands of miles ahead. You commit to taking just one single step each day. And once you take it, you give yourself total permission to be done. By shrinking your timeline from a lifetime of grueling work down to one tiny action today, you bypass the brain's panic reflex and force momentum to begin. Human motivation is notoriously unstable. Some days you might feel a surge of energy and take 3 steps. Other days you'll be exhausted and barely drag yourself through one, and that is fine. The size of the step on any given Tuesday is irrelevant compared to the raw consistency of simply moving forward, because those microscopic daily actions secretly compound. Slowly, they pull the ultimate goal out of the fog and bring it into sharper focus. Relentless, minimal action destroys the passive habit of waiting for life to happen. It mathematically guarantees that the distance between you and your goal shrinks every 24 hours. Let's be realistic. Taking one step today will not magically result in overnight external wealth or massive success. But there is a real shift in the logic of your day. The moment you commit to that single step, you trade the endless, dull discomfort of doing nothing for a clear, finite objective. This action gives each day a sense of purpose. You're no longer waiting for your life to change for you. You are changing it yourself. By choosing this small, temporary friction daily, you ensure your potential is no longer being wasted. Eventually, you look back and realize the accumulation of those single steps has moved you further than you originally thought possible.